Thank you for tuning in to the Life of KG podcast. We are all about helping you guys in the beauty industry, whether you're starting out in this industry or been in the business for years. We want to motivate you, educate you, and support you to grow. Enjoy the show.
Welcome back to A Life of KG. Today I am interviewing John from Phenix Salon Suites. Now, Phenix is a concept that's in America, and John has brought that recently over to the UK in Manchester. And it was an extremely interesting concept that I loved. And you guys know how I feel about employment and self-employment and it done properly and great areas. And this was a real self-employment opportunity for someone that is done right, basically. So I really wanted to find out more, and I really hope that I have asked the questions and covered what you guys would want if it was something that you was interested in or wanted to know more about the concept. So without further ado, here is John. John, thank you so much for coming on the Life of KG. How are you?
I'm fantastic, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, I'm very well, thank you. I've been really keen to get you on the show because I just love this concept that we'll get into a bit later of what you're doing. It's fascinating.
Thanks, Katie. Well, I'm delighted you've taken the time to seek me out and have me on. So I'm very happy to be talking to you.
Can you introduce yourself and just tell everyone what exactly you do?
Well, my name's John Gillespie. I am Operations Director for the UK and Europe for Phenix Salons Suites. I also am a hairdresser myself with a hair background, been in the industry over 30 years. I still have my own salon in Scotland. I think I've got one of the most, probably unique kind of histories as far as, the different experiences I've had. I've performed in, I think at the last count, it was 51 countries worldwide. I've worked with major brands, including L'Oréal, Schwarzkopf, Amway Corporation, and that's taken me on a worldwide, journey of, working with brands, creating products, creating brand experiences, creating brand concepts, educating, teaching, performing, and in between cutting people's hair. So it's been a very mixed bag of experience. And, it's with that experience that I've landed with the role that I have with Phenix.
Your CV was so impressive. I couldn't believe everything you've done. I was like, wow. Because when I first kind of scouted you out, I saw it was Phenix. And then when you sent your CV over, because I'm more beauty industry, not hair, so that's why, I was like, oh my God, that's incredible. What a journey you've had.
And that was as I said to you, I think that was it still needing a couple of updates. There's been a few things since then. Like I've invented a product, a hairbrush, and that was on it. But since then, that took me to QVC, HSN in America. So selling the brush in sort of 9-10 countries. Also, Channel 4 program, Buy It Now, which was kind of like Dragon's Den. Did that as well. So. Yeah, there's it's been a very varied career, and I suppose for me it was always a case of, well, what can I do with all this experience? Where do I fit? Going forward in the future, because sometimes you think, you get a little bit older in life, as I admittedly am, and you think, well, am I going to stand cut hair till for the next 25 years? And and that's not what I probably wanted to do. So I was always thinking, what can I do that, utilizes the unique experience I've had, and how can I share that, and how can I perhaps, in my mind was benefit a big brand.
Do you still cut hair? Are you still behind the chair, or is that no longer?
Not as much, yeah. I'm still doing roughly, 2 days a week.
Okay, God, how are you fitting it all in?
Well, at the moment, I don't know how I'm fitting it. Because even today I'm in between clients today, because it was a Thursday is my client day, so I try not to Thursday and Friday, so I try not to not to miss that. But do you know what? I wanted to talk to you And I wanted to share all we can to all your listeners. Yeah, so it's fine, but I think I thrive on variety.
Yeah, I'm a
thrive on doing different things. So when you're saying to me how do I fit it in, it's actually not that difficult, simply because I'm enjoying what I'm doing. And I'm doing different things every day.
Yeah.
Before, further back in my career, in the early days, I was cutting hair every day. And I think as all hairdressers or beauticians, therapists, doing clients day in, day out, like the scale I was doing, full all day, every day, maybe 6 days a week, a lot of the time. That's hard going. It's hard physically, it's hard mentally. So I feel actually privileged that, over time, organically, I've grown this kind of different, different directions of my career and different things that I've been doing. So my week now is almost, it's perfect, because I'm away a couple of days. I'm in Manchester a couple of days a week. I'm in the office a day a week. I'm doing, these days we're doing Zoom calls, video meetings. We've got a global team based in the US. I'm obviously here in the UK. So I'm in, I speak to them every week. So you've kind of got all these like Zoom meetings and all the rest of it on that day. And then Thursday, Friday, I'm doing hair. So I think the thing at the moment is, God, where are the weeks going?
Yeah.
I'm getting to Friday, I'm thinking, oh my God, it's Friday again. So that's mainly what it is, that life's going too quick. So
I was walking my little girl to school this morning, and she's like, this week's gone so fast. And I'm like, every week goes so fast. Like, I can't believe we're talking Christmas and planning Christmas. And I'm like, I feel like we've just had that.
And then you're singing happy birthday. It's Christmas again.
I know. So tell me more about Phenix Salons and how is it run? What's the background?
Okay. So Phenix Salons Suites is actually, it's a great story actually, and it very much aligns with my story in the fact that, it's a family background, like me, I was born into a family hairdressers, sweeping floors when I was 5. And our founder, Gina Rivera, was the same. She grew into, I think the whole family were hairdressers in Colorado. And they, built a great business. And then herself and her husband, Jason Rivera, they then created the first Phenix Salon Suites in the early 2000s. And and I think this is what I find fascinating, is they the first franchise Phenix Salon Suites in 2011, right? And there are now over 300 locations.
Wow.
Of Phenix Salon Suites. And to give you a brief background, because a lot of people listening, they won't really, even the terminology salon suites will be quite new to them. It was to me. And I think just to give everybody that background, what is Phenix Salon Suites? What we do is we'll take quite a large building, roughly from minimum about 4,500 square feet up to, some of them in the States are 10,000 square feet. The one in Manchester, for example, that we have just opened is around 6,000 square feet. And what we do is we build almost little boutique salon studios within that building. And then in Manchester, for example, we have 29 suites, salon studios for rent, right? And in those studios, from our experience in the States, we are, I think the number, it used to be higher. I think it used to be 85% hairdressers, but now it's about 70% hairdressers, maybe even slightly less. And it's all really a lot more people from beauty. You've got lash specialists, you've got brow specialists, you have nail techs, you have pedicurists. I think you know better than me all the specialised people that are around these days of the things that they do. We've also got tattooists, barbers, microbladers. So there's a real plethora of different skills, different backgrounds, and different offerings. So it's basically, we like to call it's space to rent for lifestyle professionals.
Mm-hmm.
And a lifestyle professional can be any of the, what I've listed there, as far as whether it's hair, beauty, tattoo, it's pretty much, there's as you know, this kind of world that we're in has exploded
Yeah.
in the last few years. And again, I think because going back throughout my time, you would have a beauty therapist, for example. Whereas now, you've got people, that would perhaps just specialize in eyebrows or eyelashes or, or lips or nails, and then hair. Even hair now is broken down to, you'll get people just specializing in color. You've got, for example, in Manchester, we've got this amazing American girl that's joined us, and she does a very unique way of hair extensions. And she's got appointments in Manchester before she's even got there. So it's, so she's a specialist in that. So there's all these very much kind of specialized ways of doing things. And that's what we want to try and, or that's what we attract, is people that, independents, who want to be their own boss, who want to rent their own space and basically suit themselves. Because we find more and more people are doing that, particularly even post-pandemic, as we get out of this pandemic, which I think we are getting out of. People are very much, they want to suit themselves. They very much want to start when they want to start. They finish when they want to finish. They work what days they want to work. And with our suite system, they can do that. They are independent. They rent the space. They pay a rent, and that's all they pay. There's no hidden costs. There's no surprises. We actually fit out the space from a point of view. If I can give you an example, for the hairdresser, we will provide them with a backwash system, which is obviously a shampoo basin and reclining chair. We give them a Mileti hydraulic styling chair, really high quality. We give them a styling station for all their equipment to hang on and put the stuff on. We also give them cabinetry in the salon. So all they really need to start their business, arguably, is a mirror and a tub of paint if they want to paint the wall. They can decorate it how they want, and they can create this, amazing studio space in their own image. And it's exciting in Manchester at the moment, just when you see some of the early adapters who have already taken a space in Manchester, how they're decorating them is really exciting. You think, oh wow, I never thought of that. And it's great to see, and again, great to see the difference between what we're doing here in the UK compared to what's perhaps going on in the States.
Yeah, definitely. So it's basically a huge building with loads of different types of salons in. Yeah. And you're just basically the landlord, aren't you, for them salons?
Yeah, that's it. We are, from a point of view, the building point of view. However, as Phenix Salon Suites as a brand, we also have our own colour range that we're just launching this year. It's called Colours by Gina. Again, this was, and again, I'll come to my stories. One of your questions was, how did I end up with Phenix? So Colours by Gina is our own colour brand. So with that colour brand, we will support that brand with education, and also within the suites at the location, there will also be education events for colour, for cutting, for running your own business. So we do want to create a culture. We want to create a community, within that building, and within, as we roll out throughout the UK, we want to create this, this community of Phenix that, it can be just rent your own space, shut the door, goodbye, and do your own thing, because that's an appeal for people. But it's also, there will be a community, there will be education, and there will be help on hand to help you run your business if needed. You can be as involved in it, not. And again, it's on your terms.
Yeah, it is such an incredible concept, and I think the way the industry is going, that's what eventually salons are going to evolve to, because there's this whole, like you said, people want to do their own thing, they want flexible time, and that was coming in way before the pandemic, and I think the pandemic has now cemented that. With my salons, we're always employment and employment only, but we do lose staff because they want to go and do their own thing, and that's fine. And I do think there's two different types of people, isn't there? Some people want to work for themselves and do their own thing, and others want the security of that job. And I think there is a place for both of these type of salons.
Absolutely. I mean, there's nothing. I mean, I'm like you. I've got a salon and it's all employed. We employ over 20 people in the salon. So I know both ends, and this is the reason that when I found this in the States, looking ahead, I'm thinking, you know what, there's going to be people want to do that. Not everybody. For example, in our salon, we're working at the very premium end of the business. We're charging high prices. There's good salaries to be made. But there's a whole raft of other types of salons and types of business that maybe that's not possible. And I think there's scope here. Again, as you say, it's not. There's so many people will want to do that, but there's people who won't. So there's a place for everybody.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think where the salon suite thing was born was from the rent-a-chair market, or in America it was called booth rental. We pretty much call it rent-a-chair here. And we were a little bit behind the curve from that point of view, but we've certainly caught up. Self-employed in the UK, from a data point of view, is now over 60%. Hairdressing and beauty professionals are self-employed. So whether that's within a salon or whether it's doing their own thing, and that's not including hair salon owners. So, and it was only about 3 years ago it was just under 50%. So it was the first time it's actually clocked over 50 not that long ago, and now I think post-pandemic is now hitting over 60. So that's a real change in the market. And we feel at Phenix that's the change that we've seen in the States already. And when I saw the business in the States, and again going back to how did I arrive at Phenix, I was invited out by Jason and Gina Rivera to work with them on the concept of the Colours by Gina colouring range. And when I say the concept, because I built concepts before, with brands, and it was more a case of how do we perhaps Britify or Eurofy this colour, because we would like to obviously get it to the UK and Europe, in time. So that was my original, role, was going out there as a consultant. And I went out there and met the team, and they were in Dallas for a few days. And I think it was just one of these things that you just kind of, you just click with people right away, and they get you, you get them. And I immediately felt comfortable, loved the colour, checked it out, fantastic colour, great results. And throughout that time, they then got there was about 3 Phenixes in Dallas, quite close to where we were situated. And the guy who owned these locations, and these owners, they're generally business people, they're not hair, they're not hairdressers or beauty people, they're generally, as you say, landlords.
Yeah.
And that's the appeal of owning a franchise, but that's another story. So I went and had a look at the salon suite. One of his in Dallas had 50 suites, and they were all full.
Wow.
And I'm walking through it, and I'm seeing the little cards on the door and the designs on the door, lash specialist, brow specialist, microblading, hairdresser, barber. I think there was even somebody selling handbags. And there was this real, I thought, this is cool. And I could see this working. And that's when I think the next day we're chatting about the colour launched in the UK. I was like, well, do you know what? I think for this colour to be successful in UK and Europe, we have to launch Phenix Salon Suites in the UK. And Jason and Gina were like, what do you think, the UK's ready for that? And I was like, I think absolutely. I think and this was 3 years ago. I think this model would work in the UK. I can see, being in the industry for as long as I have, I can see this working, and I can see it working throughout in certain parts of Europe also, as I've worked extensively there. So that's how that started as far as bringing it here. And we then had a new CEO come in, Brian Kelly, and Brian's based in Colorado as well. And Brian was really kind of, along with myself, Leslie as well, we kind of formed a global team to think, right, how are we going to get Phenix to the UK? And that's when we began looking for people, looking for a franchisor, looking for people to actually say, right, okay, let's do this. And thankfully we did find a great team who have taken the master franchise on for the UK. So they will control the UK in total. Came from a franchising background. and they have been fantastic to work with. And I guess for me, Manchester was my pick. I just felt Manchester was the perfect place to start. I think I love the city. I'm a Man United fan. I did think more about it than that, but I suppose for me, it was always I generated always great times in Manchester, and I'd educated at the L'Oréal Academy in Manchester a lot over the years. So I'd spent a lot of time, quite a reasonable amount of time in Manchester, and it was there's just always such a strong fashion sense in Manchester. I feel they're sort of quick adapters. They're even, I think the best music comes from Manchester. My favourite bands are from Manchester. Football, fashion, knowing the hair industry there. And I just felt Manchester was the perfect place to start. And thankfully, the right property came up that we felt was ideal, which was it was a gym on Deansgate in Manchester, right next door to Harvey Nichols, the back entrance. And it was just, this was ideal. So that's how Manchester, started rolling along. And we began sort of serious work on it about probably near a year ago. The builders went in earlier this year, and the builders left about a week ago. So we're now properly opening our doors. We're launching our kind of PR, press launches just this week actually. So we're very excited, and I think, as I say already, we've got a good number of people. We're nearly half full already, so a good number of people taking suites up, and already it's a mixture of people. There's a barber in there, set up a sort of a barber shop, or it's like a football theme. They've put like a grass effect on the floor. They've put, looks like you're in a stadium in the suite, so it's really cool. There's a couple of hairdressers in there. There's as I say, there's our extensionist in there. So it's a very mixed. There's a lot of beauty interest. So there's already a very mixed bag of what's going to be in, and you can see the community building even within the first week, which is exciting.
Feel that it's would you say that can only be one lash tech in there, or you say no, 5 people want to come and rent up space and it's 5 of the same business? Do you allow that? Does it cause competition? How do you kind of get around that?
Well, I think, Katie, the thing is, right, it doesn't really matter, because there could be 20 hairdressers in there. Now, I think what we're looking for, we're looking for you can either come here and start your new business, but I think the model that we tend to follow is that you've got to book a business. You generally wouldn't take on a new rent if you've not got any business, no clients, no nothing. So we would generally be saying, if you've got your business, whether it's hair, beauty, whatever it is, bring your business and have your own suite. So it wouldn't really matter if you've got your clients. And I always think, you get a client from a client, and you build your business in that space. It doesn't really matter if you've got to think of it as a street. If there's 5 hairdressers on the street, you're going to go to the one which you prefer. It doesn't really matter if such and such is across the road or next door. Or if you think, like, I always think, when you see like the coffee franchises or the fast food franchises, they tend to stick around each other.
Yeah, it's very true.
People around, and I think I'd heard somebody say recently about the client journey is not going to be great for having a suite. I think the client journey is brilliant for having a suite, because, for example, and when you see our building, I'd like to invite you to come and have a look around whenever you can. If you're in Manchester, I'd love to show you around and actually see what a sumptuous property is. We've done a great job. It's a very impressive entrance. So from a client journey point of view, they're going to love visiting that location. And the other exciting thing is, they're getting their hair done, but they might think, oh, is there a lash girl here? What's she like? Or is there a nail? Oh, maybe. And I can go to her within the same day in the same building. So there's an appeal there.
Yeah.
And a client journey point of view, it's a great journey, because the suites are all fantastic. They all have their own air conditioning system, for example. So the stylist can, or professional can regulate their own heat. They can have it, hot, cold, whichever they wish. And it's high quality finishings and decoration. So it's a great client experience as well as from the professionals' experience. They're working in Manchester, for example, in my opinion, is one of the best addresses in Manchester. It's, we're #1 Deansgate. So your salon or your studio is #1 Deansgate. And I think that's, if you're an independent trying to start your business or, build your business, what better way to do it than start at #1 Deansgate Manchester on your business card? So I think that's a real pool that, and as I say, they pay the rent. There's no rates, there's no extras for Wi-Fi. We have a laundry room they can use, there's washers, dryers, we have a kitchen they can use. So they know where they are. The rent is the rent. The other appeal is that they can sign a month-to-month contract. So they're not signing their life away for a 5-year lease or, a 10-year lease, even a 3-year lease. They can sign month to month. So there's no huge worry about trying this out, trying to build your business. And even at the moment, we're offering, about 2 weeks free rental to get people started, to give them a chance to get going. So there's so many pluses that it's just it's a great business model. And as I say, it's totally upfront. There's no hidden costs, no hidden extras, no surprises. The rent is the rent, and that's all you pay, nothing else.
Yeah, and I guess when it comes to the client, like you said, the client journey, as some people think, oh, is that going to work? And at first I did think that. I thought our client's going to be confused because they're so used to high street or going to someone's house or someone being mobile. But I think once they get in there, they'll be like, wow, this is like a shopping centre for just like hair and beauty.
Yeah, it's like, and that's it. I think it's, and they are still in the high street, Deansgate, we're right in the middle of town. So I think that was important for us, especially initially, was, that because our client is the stylist and the beauty professionals, or lifestyle professionals as we call them, because there's so many different, hair and beauty is not enough. So lifestyle professionals, we felt most of them were operating in the city centres in the UK. It's different in the States because they're kind of almost like out in what we call strip malls. Whereas in the UK, we're very much city centre for these type of things. So we felt it's important initially, in particular, to be city centre. So Deansgate, you couldn't get much more city centre than that in Manchester. So it's a great location. And it's usually from the client journey. There's, one, they're going to their stylist that they want to go to. Two, there is opportunity for different types of services that will be available and could be recommended when they're there. I mean, for me, it's almost like I don't know, you'll be too young, but I remember years ago in London, right? It was in Kensington, just down Kensington High Street way. And there was a shop called Hyper. And Hyper was this huge, almost like a department type size of shop. And in it was all independent, up and coming clothes designers, who probably couldn't afford their own shop in London. And there was these almost like little, areas that they had. Some of them had a door to it, but it was almost like these independent studios of fashion designers and all almost at different levels. There was some really expensive stuff. There was some, a lot cheaper stuff. There was some middle of the road stuff. There was men's, there was women's, there was high fashion, more or general. And it was just a really cool place to be around because you could see all these, different talents doing different things. And I think at the end of the day, what it also did, because where do these people go now? I mean, I think because what we're trying to do like that then is we're trying to give people a platform to say, do you know what? You can have your own business here. You can start with us next week. You can start with us tomorrow, bring your own mirror and you're ready to go. Even from a beauty point of view, we will have fitted in there a spa sink. We will have fitted in there if they're nails or if they're massage or something like that, we will put a beauty bed in it for them. So it's such a great opportunity to, for, all our kind of entrepreneurial types, creative in the creative industries that want to do something. We can actually help you do it very quickly and without a massive outlay by yourself, and without the fear of taking on rents, taking on leases, and you've got a month-to-month contract. So it's a very easy way to get yourself going in business.
Yeah.
And a very exciting way and as I say, it's all on your terms. You can be involved with us as a community and the education, what's there on offer. You can get involved in that or not. It's and we're open every day, all day. So your hours are up to yourself.
Yeah.
You can even share a suite if you want. I mean, these days, a lot of people, okay, we're open 7 days. You might be, well, I'll work 3.5 days and you work 3.5 days, we'll share it. And as long as if we get the rent, there's not an issue from us on that. So there's huge scope there for a couple of people to say, well, yeah, we'll take one, but we'll take one between us. And we've also got a couple of double suites, which there's enough. I mean, one of the biggest double suite is it's probably room. There's 2 backwashes in it, and there's room for 3 styling chairs. So you've almost got a ready-made salon to walk into in a prime location in Manchester.
Yeah, so someone could even create their own team in there, can't they?
Yeah. So there's so much possibility for so many different people within our world. It's just a really exciting time, and I'm really excited already to see the early stages of it. And, we want to obviously take this through the UK, and we're already talking to Sweden, Germany, Spain, serious interest there to grow this brand throughout Europe.
I was going to say, what's next for the business? So would you say that's more growth? Is there anywhere else in the UK you're looking at right now? Or
yeah, we're definitely looking at other places in the UK. Absolutely. We want to. Our sole focus has just been Manchester to get this right. And we've learned so much throughout the build. We've learned so much throughout the whole kind of planning, everything. So we get this right. We kind of polish it off, and then then we're ready to we'll certainly be looking at other cities, probably close to Manchester.
Yeah, that's brilliant. So going back to a bit of the self-employment versus employment, because I've had quite a lot of salon owners from America on the podcast over the last 3 years, actually, and it is funny that they had the rent a booth. Then they called employment something else. I can't remember what they call it. They called it something slightly different, and that started coming in like the last couple of years. And then I heard this concept from someone else, and I said, I bet that starts in the UK.
Right.
But I'm really interested to hear of, how do you think this will be for Phenix Salons? Do you think it will confuse like Phenix Salons with all the other brands in there with running their own businesses, or what do you think?
Yeah, no, I don't think that. I think with us, we're absolutely much cleaner in the market than I think a lot of salons are with their so-called self-employment system, because it's not really self-employed. Because self-employed is really about you being the entrepreneur, you deciding what you're doing, and you're self-employed, so you're the boss almost. But in a salon, what we find a lot throughout our research, because we're obviously researching what people are paying for rent a chair, or what the self-employed, so to speak, deals are. And what we were finding there was a lot of what you term as the 50-50 deal with the salon owner, even 60-40 deal with the salon owner in the salon owner's favour. So that was taking prices up, from renting chairs to, some of them say, £200-300 a week, to then the 50-50. And if you're a stylist, we're looking at let's just even, you expect to be bringing in over £1,000 a week for a full-time stylist to be profitable somewhat. And I'm not saying that, I'm saying that sensitively, as far as I would say that from a city centre point of view. There's obviously smaller salons without, they're not in that price range, or but in a city centre point of view, I know from my background that on figures wise across the country, on average, you need to be bringing in over £1,000 a week roughly for a stylist to be profitable within a salon. So let's just say if that's even on a 50-50 deal, and most of the salons, they should be VAT registered if they turn over that kind of money. So they're generally taking the VAT off the takings first, and then splitting the money, or then paying the chair rent. So things like that I think is not thought about. Whereas with us, you take your own money. All you do is you pay us the rent. Yes, you pay VAT on the rent, but we don't take VAT off your takings, and that's a big difference. It's a big difference to the stylist or to the beauty practitioner. Whatever she does, whether it's microblading, brows, even estheticians that are looking at our properties. So there's a lot of confusion as whether are you really self-employed, and again with us, you're not having to comply with salon hours. You're not having to decide who's on what shift with who, or if she's in, you're not in, and the balance of numbers. You have your own place. You take your money, you keep your money, you pay us the rent. You are truly self-employed with us. You are truly setting your own hours, setting your own prices, your own price structure, setting the days that you work. So a lot of the terminology within salons, self-employed, they're not really self-employed.
No, it does my absolute head in. It's
I think that's a lot that probably people don't know about. It's confusing for me. I mean, because I'm in the business. Whereas us, I think for what I do, I employ my team. It's clear. We know what's happening, and they're employed, and we work together as a team. I've got great people. I've got a lot of people been with me 20 years plus. So we've got a model that works for us. But if you want to be self-employed, there's self-employed and there's not, and I think there's a lot of grey areas in between. But I think with us, we're the least confusing because you truly are self-employed, and you, as I said, you take your own money, you keep your money, and you pay your rent. There's no hidden extras. There's no membership fees. There's no anything taken off. It's you take your money, you pay us the rent. We don't take the money, then give it to you. So there's no confusion. And as I said, you can work all day, every day if you want, or you can work an hour a day. You might be a couture hairdresser and get £1,000 a haircut. If you work one day a week, it doesn't bother us if you pay your rent. So it's a really, I think we are one of the clearest cut concepts in the market because you know where you are. You are absolutely self-employed.
Yeah, which is what I love. Wouldn't that be so brilliant if salons were employment, and then you had your salon suites, which were self-employment, and it was just either one or the other without all this grey area? That would be fantastic, rolling that out through the UK.
And that may happen, Katie, because I think that's what's happening is the grey area, the confusion. And I think these people are saying, "Oh, I'm self-employed." You're not really self-employed because you're having to work a certain day or a certain hour, or open at a certain time, close at a certain time, charge a certain price. So there's a lot of grey areas, as you say. And as I say, if you do the sums, right, financially, the self-employed model in a salon as against self-employed in a suite, you're going to do a lot better with us. And I think that's absolutely clear. So I would say, and it's, as I say, it's clear cut. You're truly self-employed with Phenix Salons Suites. And as I say, there's other models out there that I don't understand, and I think whether they're self-employed or not is debatable.
Yeah, definitely. What advice would you give to anyone then that wants to start a business?
I think what I would do is I suppose you've got to think, well, it's all very well saying, right, I want my own business or I want to do this. But I think what you've got to understand is the responsibility of having your own business. Because having your own business, guess what? It's down to you. There's nobody going to, everybody always thinks the phone will ring. It won't ring. You've got to figure out how you're going to get it to ring. So I think there's the thought process of, if I want my own business, one, do I have my own business at the moment? What do I have currency-wise? Do I have clients? Or if I don't have clients, how am I going to get clients? And it's a case of, and again, that's another thing that we're building in with our Salon Suites model, is that we want to help you build your column if you've not got one. Because at the end of the day, if you want to be self-employed, you've got to start somewhere. So there's ways and means of how you build a column. But making the decision to be self-employed, I think, is understanding, well, guess what? It's down to you. And there's a lot of good, people like to think, yeah, I'm going to do something like that. But when it comes to, well, what are you going to do? How are you going to go about it? How are you going to get that client? How are you going to keep that client? And how the third main thing is how you're going to get that client to get you another client, because that's how a column works. That's how a business in hair and beauty and lifestyle professions work. A lot of it is, getting the client, finding the client, keeping the client, and getting that client to get you another client. And I think that's the rule of thumb, I think, in the industry is that's what to do. But I think that to be successful, it's just having a real thought out plan of one, what can I bring in a week as against what my costs are, what's my stock going to cost, and what's my rent going to be. And again, that's the advantage with us. You know what your rent is, you know what you need to do to bring in to pay it. And I think that's the key for me. And I think as well, but then that's certainly not a negative. The positive side of it is, guess what? You can decide for yourself. You can be who you want to be. You can, start at 1 in the afternoon and finish at 9 if you want. Every day, if you're that type of person, you want to, or you want to work weekends and stay off Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. It's the freedom of having your own business is great. I think, especially if it's an independent business. I mean, because they're self-employed, like I'm self-employed, but I've got a team of people that, so again, I would say to myself, I'm not really self-employed. I've got a team of people that I'm responsible for, and I've got to make things work for everybody.
Yeah.
They've got to work with me to make it work for them. So the beauty of the independent suite is it's you.
Yeah.
And it's actually quite a nice, simplistic form of business, because sometimes it's a case of you can just enjoy doing your clients, and make yourself a good living, and it's all down to you, and you will reap the rewards of it. You're paying a fair rent for a great place, and I can't see anything that beats it as far as, as I say, and I think you'll understand that, or anyone will, if they come down to Manchester and Deansgate, have a look around and see what it's like, because it is a phenomenal looking place. And I think if you're renting your own studio for, competitively with what you would pay for renting a chair in a decent salon.
Yeah, definitely. I love you said about freedom. That's definitely why I'm in business. Like, obviously we love all the financial rewards that you get that come along with having a business, but creating that freedom, but I'm like you, John, I've got teams as well, so it is more flexible, isn't it? But being able to work for yourself and create the life you want, priceless, really, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think, as I say, but not everybody wants that.
No.
Some people like the security of being employed and being in a bigger team and being part of that. That's fine. But a lot of people, as you say, they want that freedom, and they want to reap all the rewards of their hard work. And I think that's the platform that Phenix Salons Suites can give you. You can. It's down to you. There's nobody annoying you, if you like. It's truly your own business. It's truly your own identity, because you can decorate your suite. You can create your imagery in there, and you can reap the rewards for how hard you work or not. You might be quite happy with and just an okay lifestyle, and I want a life-work balance, and I'm just going to do 3 days a week or 4 days a week. I'm going to suit myself, or I'm going to start at 12, pack it until 6. Work, less hours, but do more work in the hours. So there's that, as you said, it's that total freedom to build your business the way that you want to build it. Because you perhaps won't have that freedom to do that within a salon environment. But in the salon suite environment, you can build it how you choose. And that's a nice place to be, because I think so many of us, and that's the way they want it. They want to be able to, I just want to suit myself, with my own stuff. And that can be a nice place to be.
Yeah, definitely. John, it's been absolutely fascinating talking to you. Thank you for giving us an insight on yourself and the new concept. I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes. I'm sure you're going to absolutely smash it in the UK. How can people connect with you?
Well, what they can do, they can reach out to me. They can have they can call me direct. I'll give you the number, which is 07901 91. No, sorry, I'm getting my own number wrong. 07909 993491. If you don't want to call me, you can email me, and that is jgillespie@phenixsalonsuites.com.
Perfect.
Reach out to me, talk to me, come and have a look around, have your mind blown by the success you're going to have.
Amazing. Thank you so much, John.
Appreciate it. Thanks, Katie.
If you love this episode, please share and tag us on social media at KG Salon.
I always follow them.
If you're a salon owner and would like to join our membership program, coffee, cake, and chat, get in touch for a space. Be around a like-minded tribe. Have 400 pounds worth of mentoring a month. And push yourself to the next level.
I love being a part of such a great community.
Until next time, have an amazing, successful week.